Good morning, everyone. So today we are discussing Leetcode contest. So the contest number is 475. So let's start discussing question number 374. This is the easy one in the contest. So the time is 10:56. So we have to finish three question under 45 minutes. So let's see it is possible or not. So minimum distance between three equal element one question is given. So you are given a nums. So a tuple ijk of three distinct indices is good if nums of I is equal to nums of j is equal to nums of k. The distance of so tuple. So remember this point. Let me write here. So so tuple are given. Okay. Ijk I comma j comma k. So till now we are okay. So tuple again all three is good if good when is good when all three of them equal. So nums of I is equal to nums of j is equal to nums of k. So till here we complete finishes tuple ijk good if this condition follow. The distance of good tuple is equal to distance of a good tuple is equal to absolute difference between I j jk. Okay, absolute difference value k. So return the integer denoting minimum possible distance of good tuple. If no good tuple, return -1. So I have to check for this. So let's try to code. So I brute force things. Simply n is equal to nums dot size. Okay. Then the for loop int I0 I less than and I plus plus. Okay. After that int j is starting from the j start from I plus 1 I and j less than and j less than and j plus plus. After that for loop int k is equal to j plus 1. Okay, and k is less than and k plus plus. So we check if nums of I is equal to nums of j and nums don't run the loop. So we have -2 -3. So till -3 till -2 or till -1. Okay, and -1. Let's change accordingly. So if this condition true, well, it's one brute force approach. So we using three loops. So n cube if the constraint is 100. So don't no need to worry about because it becomes 10 to the power 6. So it is under the constraint. So for the optimized one, this doesn't work. So in this case, we have to count the difference. So we have to count the absolute difference between the indices. Okay, okay. We have to count them. So int sum is equal to 0 minimum. So int max initialize. So if this one is equal to, then int answer is equal to abs of I minus j plus abs of j and j minus k minus I. Okay, and the value answer. So sum is equal to sum. This one is sum, this will be answer. write write the correct one, write correct variable, so for the understanding become easy. So let's see, answer is equal to minimum of answer and sum. Okay, in this condition answer will be sum. So what is the condition? Return the denoting minimum possible distance of this, and if good tuple exists this, then return -1. If not, so how we write? If return, so what we have written? If answer is greater than mm, if answer is equal to, if I simply don't use standard. If answer is equal to max, return -1. Okay, else case of return answer. Okay, so let's see once again, sizing correctly, denoting the answer, storing the variable int max answer is correct, starting from 0 to n-3. What if n is equal to, here n is equal to 1 2 3 4 5, so there will be 5 starting from 0 0 1 2, so 2 5 minus 5 minus 3, so this one is correct. Then we have to start, j will be this and k will be this. Okay, and if the condition nums of I is equal to nums of j is equal to nums of k, then if condition is true, then we store the value of the absolute difference as given in the question, and see the we want minimum one. So there is if their answer will not existing, so we have to return -1. If exist, we have to return this. So run the code. Let's see. Wrong answer for the second test case. In case 1, case 2 run collective, but the case 2 didn't works properly. So the answer, the output will be 6, but the output is here 8. How -1 6. Let's see, all correct na? I j, so I minus j, j minus k, k minus I, so this one is correct, this one is correct. 36 minutes the timing of streaming, so 8 minutes. mm, and j plus 1. So what if I write I plus 2? So this become wrong, this also become wrong. So this one is j plus 1 less than n minus 1 and n minus 2. Let's see. So again this one is incorrect. So why this second question is incorrect? mm, all are good. Until here, why don't you run this loop? And 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 let's see the answer. So again incorrect. 0 I plus 1 0, I plus 1 and I plus 2. This loop is correct. Condition is also correct. Okay, and distance is also correct. So I minus k, j minus k. So distance also correct. Mm, minimum of d. So let's see. Let's try to fix this one. So return if answer is less than a and b infinity. In this case, we have to return answer. Otherwise, return minus 1. So not infinity. Let's okay. Let's note. Mm, we'll choose int underscore and max. Let's see. Everything seems to be correct, but where we did mistake. So n is correct. We are initializing value. Answer is correct. We are starting from the loop from I0 to n I plus plus. This one is also correct. And out of for loop j plus I plus 1, j is less than, also correct. And third loop 4 is equal to k, j plus 1, k less than 1, k plus plus. Okay, this one is also correct. If nums of I is equal to nums of j, and also check, we don't directly initialize. So and nums of j is equal to this. So now this one will correct. So all corrected. We have to submit this one. So time taken 40 minutes. Okay, this one is cool. Passes all the cases. So move for the next question. So minimum distance between part 2. So same question, but the constraint become higher. So how we check? So how we check and how we answer this question? Minimum distance between three equal element part 2. So in this case, in previous solution, the time complexity will be the n cube. So we have to reduce to order of n because n squared don't work here. So order of n. So what we see, this condition is true. So simply adding the distance. So what we have to do, running only one loop. So what if we store the value? What if we store the value in an order map with the indexes? Hmm. So storing the value with indexes. So what is the benefit? Hmm. IJK, nums of I, nums of k, the distance of good tuple IJK. Absolute distance, return the integer noting minimum possible value, good answer if notable. So we have to find minimum but in order. So let's store all the value with their indices in the unordered map and traverse the nums array. If nums of I, if the nums of I is found in take difference. Let's see what is my algorithm. So what are my approach? So creating another map. Okay, what it will help? So in another map, what we see? Okay, 1, 2. So what will the question? 1 2 answer 1 2 1 1 3 1 2 1 1 3. So answer will be 1 2 1 1 3 1 2 1 1 3. Answer will be 6. So how it is possible? 3 to 5. If we store the value, so 1 comes 1 to 2 times, okay, and 2 occurs only one time, 3 occur only one time. So if we start traversing from this one, so we have to check the one is there, so we check if there, yes, exist. No, we have to store this value in the index form. So basically 1 at index number 0, 2 at index number 1, 1 at index number 2, 1 at index number 3, and 3 index at 4. So here is the nums of I, and here is the index. Okay, don't need to worry. So after that we have to see run loop from this portion, and nums of I is equal to 1. So let's check into the array box. Okay, array box, if exist, if exist, if exist. So if we start from nums of 0, and condition will be the I is not is equal to the given index, so don't match other than 1, okay, and 1. So take a difference, store and continue. So let's try to code. Let's try to code this one. So let's try to solve. Create an unordered map, unordered map, of int comma int, okay, int comma mp, or for auto, or no, okay, run for loop, int I0, I less than, and nums dot size I plus plus. So in this case, mp of nums of I is equal to I. So we store all the values in nums according to this. So after that, we run the loop, int I0, I less than nums dot idx, don't take I, idx, idx, idx plus plus in this case. So if we firstly check if mp dot find nums of I is not is equal to nums dot mp dot end, in this case, and idx is not is equal to mp dot second value nums of I dx, and so dot second, okay, idx, here we find idx. So in this case, what we have to do, um, int max. Okay. So as we discussed, we use an order map. This person seems to be incorrect. So let's see why this one. So another map things is not working properly here. Let's see what is the correct approach. Mm-hmm. Push nums of I. Okay. Approach is a little bit mostly clear. Let's see what we have done. So try for correcting in this case. So we have to check first of all int n is equal to nums dot size. Okay, and after as we discussed, we have to create an unordered map of int comma vector, because one occurs many times, so we have to store the value in vector format. So vector. Okay. Okay, so map is created and we have to push everything value. mm, for int I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, what you have to do, mp of nums of I dot push back what index. That we have to push back index of all the element. Okay, so this until this step we have clear. So let's initialize our answer. Int answer is equal to int max. Okay, so all thing is clear. Mm, so we have to run on auto function on the map. So we have to check the condition if mp. So auto function for the vector, auto function the vector p dot second, it dot second. So it dot second will be a vector value as we know, and the int have to find the size. So that is equal to vec dot size. Many values inside this vector now. So start the indexing. Mm, so how we so start indexing. 2 0 1 2. What we have to do, answer of I minus mm, vector of I. So in previous question mm, as we see one occur. So one at 0 indexes, 2 index, 3 index. So if we start from 2, so if we start from the 2, so vector of 3, uh, vector of 3, so 3 minus 0 6. So in this case we have to from the second loops int I is equal to 2, I less than the size I plus plus. So in this case we have to return the answer as answer is equal to minimum of what answer comma vector of I minus vector of I minus vector of I minus 2 into 2. Okay, and rest of the approach will be similar. If return if answer is less than int int max, sorry. So in this case we have to return the answer, otherwise we have to return -1. So I know this approach is correct. Hmm. Many of you use DP to solve this question. It's simply another math thing. We have to return in the form of another math things. If there is twice of I minus size of 2, the main catch is, or the only main catch is thing is here. You have to think. You have to think for this position. Simply vector supposing this value with all the things. For the function, so time complexity is equal to, I think, n into something, so it is not n square. So okay, submit this question. So what is the third question? So let's only maximum path score in the grid. So you are given m cross n grid. Each cell contain 1, 0, 1 and 2. You are also given an integer k. You start from top left corner and you want to reach the bottom of this, and by moving the right down and each cell continue a specific, each cell each cell contribute a specific score and include incurs and associated cost according to the values. 0 add 0 to your score cost, and 1 add for the 1, and 2 add the 2 score, and 2 add to score and the cost 1. So return the maximum score achieved without exceeding the total cost k will cost k or -1 if no valid path exists. Oh, that's simply a variation of the maximum path sum question. Okay, let's see how much time we take to solve both question. Okay, it's been half an hour. We have completed two question. Mm, so third question, maximum score. So you are given m cross where the each cell contains 0 and 1. Okay, you start from the top left corner. Here we reach to the bottom using right and down things. So each cell contribute its specific value. If we see the 0 value, so add 0 to your score and the cost will be 0. And if we see 1, add 1 to your score, but the cost of doing this is 1. If we see 2, we try to score add 2 score added in our main score, and we take a cost of 1. So we possibly try to go on the second number cell instead of 1 because it's same cost but the score value is different. So return the maximum score achievable without exceeding the total cost. So we have to achieve this without exceeding the total cost. So if no valid path exists, return -1. So if you reach the last cell but total cost exceeded k, the invalid path. So okay, invalid as a 0, comma 1 path will be, so 0, comma 1. At 0, 0, the grid value is equal to 0, so score will be added to 0 and total cost will be 0 and something will be. If we move down, the score is added to, we want to maximum now value. So if we move down in second row, so we see the value grid value 2, so score is added 2 and total score become 2 and the cost become 1. So and then we have to move up this. So after that we have to reach this position. So each step we are trying to reduce the cost by 1. Total path sum. So let's see total path sum value. So try to solve it. So let's see. As we know, the total path sum value code look like this. So total path sum value will look like this. We have to simply in main function. So in main function. So inside the main function, what we have to write? In main function, we have simply give a mean path. So in which vector array. So grid is given starting from 0, comma 0, starting from the 0, comma 0. This one is clear. But inside the main function, inside the mean path, so inside the path, so vector of grid is there, and int I and int j are there. Okay. So if inside this we have to find int n is equal to grid dot size. Okay, dot size value. So int m is equal to grid of grid of 0 dot size. So till we know everything. So if we base case, if reach m minus 1 or and j reach n minus 1, I think we n and m. So in this case we reach the answer. So all the values stored in the grid value, so return grid of I comma j. Okay, if we reach the base cases, so if out of bound comes, also we have to check out of bound. If is I is greater than is equal to m, yeah, or j is uh, n and j is greater than is equal to n. So in this case we have to return some random value or int max. Okay, so till here it is clear, and only we have two steps. So int right. So int right, what do we do? The main path function, what do we do? Simply grid I plus 1 comma j Okay, or int down value. Down value we have simply mean path of grid of I remains same and j become I plus 1. Okay, so finally what you have to return the final answer. So return at each step we have to add the value. So j plus minimum from the right and down. So this is the approach. So but this is a simple sample code, but only things we have to modify in this question. So let's see. Things is total score and the we have to store the total score, and the constraint become if and not less k not less than 0. So let's see. Well, so return solve function where is grid is passes, grid is pass. So starting from 0 comma 0 comma 0 and the k is given. So okay, so integer value. So solve function in which a vector of 2D vector. Simply simply write from this section, control C. Okay, int of I, int of j, or int of k value is given. Okay, first of all let's define int n is equal to nums grid dot side, grid dot size, int n is equal to grid 0 dot size. Okay, out of bound conditions and the out of bound condition and the values. So if I reach to the n minus 1, if I is equal to n minus 1, or and j is equal to n minus 1, greater than is equal to 0. So in this case we have to return grid of I comma j. Out of bound if I is greater than is equal to m, or j is greater than is equal to n. In this case we have to return some random value. Okay, also we have to check score. So int right, how we move right, int right value is equal to जो solve functions remain same, grade will be this, I plus 1, j remains same, k minus grade of I comma j. Okay, same value for this, down value grid I plus 1. So simply j plus 1, grid value minus this. So if k value is greater than is equal to 0, k value greater than is 0, so we have to simply return grid of I, grid of j plus minimum of what, right or down. Okay, if not, if not an else condition, we have to return minus 1, return minus 1. I think so. Simply let's try to check, is it mm, the wrong answer. The answer output will be 2, output will be 1, 3 minus 1. I think approach will be incorrect. Try to see the approach. Additional constraint is only k things. Okay. Mm, all the things k is equal to min plus r plus c. Mm, So let's see what we have did mistakes here. So rows and column is going to show okay. If we reach to the end, so we have simply done max. And if grid is equal to 1, k minus 1 minus 1. So till now, mm, so let's try to write again. Simply we have to copy this one and again we don't write again question. So simply we start with this in the main function return solve of grid comma 0 comma 0 okay. So and solve function for what, this one, okay, int I, int j, int k. Okay, we have to uh, pass this one. This one correct. So check the base case condition. If my I will go out of bound condition, or J will go out of bound condition during the movement process. So in this case, we have to return the minus value, minus one value. Okay. Or if my grid value, so if grid is equal to 1, this k minus minus. Okay. So if k become 0, so in this also case we have to return, in this also case have to return minus 1. So if we if we reach if we reach the last value of n minus 1, and j will be n minus 1. Okay. In this case, simply return the grid value. So grid I comma j. There is two way to move. First of all, int down movement. So down movement will be a solve function. Grid will be same. I will be I plus 1, and j will be this one. Okay. And k remains same, and same for the right movement. RIGST right GST solve. Okay. For right movement, I remain same. So what is the best answer? The best answer from the max of down and right. Maximum, we have to maximum score reachable. So maximum score. So max. Okay. If if our best answer become minus 1, so in this case also we have to return minus 1. Okay. So return the grid of I comma j plus our best answer what we stored. The answer is wrong answer. So let's see. Again wrong. Also check the k limit. So k is equal to so simply take this one, cut Also see the limit. Final approach. Okay. Okay. So define the k value. K is equal to minimum of k comma n plus m. Okay. Now see. Still not correct. So we have 10 minutes to solve this question. So wait for 5 minutes. Hmm.
Hello. Hello. ठीक है पढ़ रहे हैं
Hi JK and things. All three things are changing. So let's see.
आवाज नहीं आ रहा मैंने तो
Okay, we try to solve using main function. So simply this one m and n. We don't try to write a recursive code, so we try to solve directly. So in main function we have we have passed this one. So int n
हाँ
comma n. Okay, all the three things. So we have to keep k is equal to minimum of k1. So score plus number of rows plus number of column. Number of rows 3, column will be 4. So rows and column we have to check taking a minimum value of k. So mean of mean of k comma m plus n. Okay, and then we have to pass. We have to return this solve function in which we have grid 0 comma 0 k. Okay, we have grid. Okay, till now look everything look everything seems to be correct. So we have to pass this one. So grid k. Okay, main function solve function of the grid
हाँ
int I int j. Okay,
हाँ ठीक है देखते हैं रात को
int j and int k. So first of all we reduce the cost value. So firstly we reduce the cost value by this one 0 1 and 2. Okay, so k minus is equal to grid of I comma j. So this thing will happen. So return 1, otherwise we have written 0. Okay, if mm, okay, if k value becomes 0, so in this case we have to return -1. Okay, base case if we reach I is equal to become minus 1 and j is equal to n minus 1. In this case, simply we have written n minus 1 and simply we have return grid of I comma j. Okay. J. So the answer will be from the movement of two direction, either from the first or this. So end result will be stored in the this value. So if the maximum of what, maximum of this, if I plus 1 is less than our row value, so in this case you have to move for the what, solve function. Okay, solve function, grid remains same, grid remains same. So I plus 1, so I plus 1 j and k. Okay, otherwise return minus 1 comma, if j plus 1 is less than n, solve function and grid value. Okay, so I remain same, j plus 1 takes place of k remain this one. If not happen this minus 1, just simply return minus 1. Okay, and finally we have to return, if answer is minus 1, return minus 1, otherwise return what, if answer is equal to minus 1. So in this if answer is equal to minus 1, so in this case we have written minus 1, otherwise we have written result plus grid of I comma j. Let's see. mm, no assignment. Oh, this will be a problem. So accepted. So we have to see the values k minus something, so subtract something from the k. Oh, this means if current value is something, so reduce one, otherwise zero. So if k value is something, if if k value is something, then reduce one, otherwise. So what other things are changing? So so only you have to pass three things are changing. So let's see. Try to use memset. So memset mem set of dp all become -2 size of dp. Okay, so we have to create a 3D dp. So int dp is equal to size. So I moves to I move to 201, 201, j moves to 201, 2, and k moves 3. So 1, 2, 3. So 1 and 1. So okay, let's see if the dp value already exists. So if dp of I, j and k is not is equal to -2, in this case simply return dp of I comma j comma k. K is equal to, simply I return this one, and final answer dp of I, j and k, okay, is equal to this one. Runtime error. Okay, simply okay, why this runtime error is coming. Out of memory. So out of memory condition. And dp of my dp of something k is equal to 3, 1 2 3 4. So we have to make 3 dp. Let's try solving using 3 dp. Simply 3D vector, okay, int of vector and 3 rectangles. Okay, vector of int 1 2 1 2 something 3. So in this dp, in first value is for rows, so n plus 1, so n plus 1 comma vector of 2D vector. So vector vector. In this we have to pass n plus 1 or sorry n+1 and n+1, okay, comma vector of integer k+1 comma -2, okay. C value is okay. We have to pass everyone dp, so here is a dp is equal to dp. So we also have to pass 3d dp, so this will be dp. So simply this one is 3d dp, so control c, in this in portion pass within add function, add by referencing if the things occur, uh, if dp of I, dp of j, dp of k is not is equal to -2, this means that return this will be occur earlier, already calculated, return this one. So okay, and this portion will be this. Okay, now we see return R81. So undeclared solve function. So also place this dp in this place. So dp finally correct and submit. Okay, completed. This one is pretty straightforward question. So we completed 3 questions and it's been 1 hour discussing the contest question. So in next session we also discuss the all the previous Leetcode contests. So we solved 3 questions. So stay tuned. Many more session is waiting.